There's a conversation happening in the Formula One paddock that nobody really wants to have out loud, but it's becoming impossible to ignore. It's the topic of Lance Stroll and whether he truly has a place in the world's most elite racing series. Now, this isn't exactly a new debate. Stroll has faced questions about his seat since he first arrived back in 2017. But after the 2025 season, those whispers have turned into a roar, and the criticism is getting harder and harder to brush off. Let's look at the cold, hard facts first. In 2025, Stroll finished in 16th place, with just 33 points. His best result for the entire year was a single 6th-place finish in Australia. To put that into perspective, his teammate, Fernando Alonso, a two-time world champion, scored 56 points and outperformed him in nearly every single way. It wasn't just about the points, though. In qualifying, Stroll was knocked out in the very first session a record 15 times. That's more than any other driver on the grid. That isn't just a bad season, it's a worrying pattern. When you're getting knocked out in the first round of qualifying more than anyone else, it tells you something is fundamentally wrong. It suggests there's an issue with how you're handling the car, or perhaps you're just not finding the rhythm of the track. Whatever the reason, it's not what you expect to see from a driver in a top-tier team. The gap between Stroll and Alonso is truly eye-opening. Over 24 races together, Alonso came out on top 14 times. On the track, Stroll only managed to beat him 3 times. In the world of Formula One, your teammate is your primary rival because you're both using the exact same equipment. When one driver is consistently delivering while the other is struggling, it sends a clear message to the team and the fans. One of them isn't doing their job. In this case, it's clear who's falling behind. These statistics tell a story of a driver who simply might not be at the level required to compete for a top Formula One team. And this isn't the first time Stroll has been outperformed. Sergio Perez beat him when they were teammates at Racing Point. Sebastian Vettel, a 4-time world champion, also outscored him. Now Alonso is doing the same. If you look at his entire career, Stroll has never really been the number one driver at any team. For someone who is supposed to be an elite athlete, that's a major red flag. It suggests that he might have already reached his limit in Formula One. The frustration from the fans is growing, and it's easy to see why. On social media and in racing forums, everyone is asking the same thing. Why is Aston Martin keeping him? The team has huge ambitions. They want to win world championships. They've even hired Adrian Newey, who is widely considered one of the greatest car designers in the history of the sport. They've spent billions on brand new facilities and top-tier infrastructure. They have Fernando Alonso, one of the best to ever do it, but they still have Stroll in the other seat, and for many, that just doesn't make sense. Some fans have suggested a different path for Lance. They think he should move over to Aston Martin's World Endurance Championship program, specifically the hypercar team. This would be a win-win. He could still be a major part of the family business and represent the Aston Martin brand, but he wouldn't be holding back the Formula One team's dreams of a championship. It's a suggestion that shows just how tired people are of the current situation. And honestly, it's a solid idea. If Stroll can't compete at the very front of the F1 grid, maybe he should look at other types of racing where he can be more competitive. It would allow him to save face while freeing up a very valuable seat for a driver who can actually help the team win. The truth is, Stroll isn't a bad driver in the traditional sense. He's not a total disaster on the track. He scored podiums and he's even taken a pole position in the past. But the problem is that he's an average driver in a team that wants to be the best. It's like trying to build a world-class football team with one superstar and one average player. It just doesn't work. You need two drivers who can both deliver at the highest level every single weekend. Stroll has tried to defend himself against the critics. He says he tries to ignore the noise and focuses on the advice of people he trusts. He talks about learning from the hard times and accepting that sports have their ups and downs. But at some point, the results have to speak for themselves. When your teammate is miles ahead of you, the criticism isn't just noise anymore, it's reality. The 2025 season was particularly tough. Not only did he struggle on the track, but he also had some moments off the track that showed his frustration. After a bad qualifying session at the Spanish Grand Prix, he actually damaged some items in the team's garage. It's the sign of someone who is feeling the weight of the pressure and the criticism. It's not the way a confident world-class driver behaves. It looks more like someone who knows they aren't meeting the mark. Looking at where he's at in his career, it's hard to see a bright future for him in F1. He's been in the sport for 9 years now. He's had plenty of time to show what he can do. He's had great teammates and competitive cars, but he's never really stepped up. His career has been defined by being okay, but okay isn't good enough if you want to be a world champion. The big question now is, what happens next? Will Aston Martin stick with him for the 2026 season, or will they finally make a change? With Honda coming on board as their new engine supplier and their goal of winning titles, keeping Stroll might be a huge mistake. Honda is a company that is hungry for success. They want to be at the front, and they'll be looking at the driver lineup and wondering if it's strong enough. But there's a big complication. Lance's father, Lance Stroll, is the boss of the team. That's the elephant in the room that everyone knows about. It's not exactly easy to fire your own son, even if he isn't performing. It creates a very awkward situation for everyone involved. But if Aston Martin is truly serious about winning, they might have to make that incredibly difficult choice. The team's goals have to come before family ties. One thing is certain, time is running out for Lance Stroll to prove himself. The 2026 season will likely be his last real chance to silence the doubters. If he can't do better than he did in 2025, it will be almost impossible to justify keeping him in that seat. The team's resources are too valuable to waste on a driver who can't keep up with the leaders. So, what do you think? Should Lance Stroll stay in F1, or is it time for him to move on to something else? Do you think his father will ever actually replace him? We want to hear your thoughts, so let us know in the comments below. We love hearing your take on the latest F1 drama. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the career of Lance Stroll, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out and ensures you never miss a video on the latest paddock news and technical breakdowns. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you're the first to know when we drop a new video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next Grand Prix.